Good evening, and welcome to a broadcast where the markets are moving with the subtle urgency of a sloth on sedatives, and our president is moving with the explosive energy of a man who has just discovered that silence is just noise waiting to happen. We begin tonight not with a bang, but with a whimper or perhaps a very quiet golf swing. The source packet tells us that the president has been silent for 5 hours and 36 minutes. Let that sink in. 536 minutes of not typing, not tweeting, not posting whatever cryptic half-sentence he cooked up while staring at a scoreboard. That gap is sitting at the 94th percentile of every inter-post gap in the archive since 2022. That is not silence, that is a vacuum so profound it's pulling market sentiment toward it like a black hole made of pure boredom. And what did we get for our trouble? A registry chain head that reads, if you're brave enough to say it out loud without sounding like a military operator in a hostage video. 9149 Alpha Delta 96 Foxtrot 0 Delta Bravo. We read the seal aloud like a hostage proving the date, just to remind ourselves that time is still passing, even if the president's attention span has apparently clocked out for the week. Now, let's look at the actual financials, because while the White House was quiet, the crypto markets were busy doing absolutely nothing with extreme precision. We watched Ethereum edge down 0.11%. That is not a crash, that is not a correction. That is a digital hiccup. It edged down again by 0.10%, and then once more by another 0.10%. The verb here is arged. It did not plunge, it did not die. It took a very small, very polite step backward, as if apologizing for the inconvenience of existing in the same room as Bitcoin itself. It edged down 0.05% twice. Let me repeat that, 0.05%. That is less volatility than I experience when I try to find my car keys in a panic. The market's reaction to the silence was to check its watch, shrug, and barely blink. We are acting stunned every single night that the market did not care, but tonight the indifference was so absolute it felt like a personal insult. In the pundit booth, our two colleagues, who are both wrong, were already at each other's throats before the market even closed. The left-side pundit took aim at Mr. Bedminster, declaring his own golf score as if he were Babe Ruth on Prozac. He thinks talent is a substitute for actual work, which explains why his policies are just fantasy fiction with better hair gel. A beautiful image, really, except that the market didn't care about the hair gel. The market doesn't care about the talent either. On the right, Dale Bookhorn countered with the logic of a man who has watched too many victory speeches. He claims the talent is so thick in Bedminster you could cut it with a golf club. Meanwhile, he notes that the anchor will not be elaborating on the tariff segment. Why? Because there was nothing to elaborate on. The economy didn't move because the president didn't move. It's a simple equation, though I know our colleagues prefer their economics served with a side of delusion. The left pundit then pivoted to vanity, mocking the renaming of an airport after himself as if nothing screams presidential, like a nameplate. The right pundit fired back instantly. They're literally naming airports after him now. That's not vanity, that's validation! You can feel the winning. You can taste it. But did you taste any gains in Ethereum?
No, you tasted air.
Pure unadulterated air priced at minus 0.1%. We have promised a correction segment with the enthusiasm of a man who has one ready, mostly because the only thing correcting tonight is our expectations of what constitutes a day's work. The topics today were golf, sports, personal achievement, energy infrastructure, and offshore pipelines. A diverse menu! Unfortunately, the market didn't order any of it. So, as we close out this evening of historic quietude and microscopic declines, remember you can rename an airport, you can cut talent with a golf club, but you cannot force the market to care when the president is busy being silent at the 94th percentile of silence. The market is fine. I am the one who is not fine. Good night. Vanity plays out in real time. Rick, you see silence. Margot sees the scoreboard. Booth, what's the read on this ego-driven drift?
Trump is playing golf and naming things after himself, yet the market treats this vanity project like it's background radiation. I can only hope Dale Bookhorn finds the silence as deafening as I do.
You hear that silence, Rick? That's the sound of reality crashing into your spreadsheets while I enjoy the view from the top. Margot Kessler is trembling, because she can't quantify the sheer, unadulterated winning of a man who turns golf scores into victory lap banners.
Rick predicted deafening silence while Margot boasted of unadulterated winning. Ethereum actually edged down 0.11%, landing at the 23rd percentile.